Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new season here on Player One Start. It is hard to believe that we have finished 3 years of this show, and this channel has grown leaps and bounds better than I ever could have imagined. I've had a lot of fun doing this, and I'm looking forward to all the content I am going to bring you here in year 4. I hope you are looking forward to it as well. Now, usually during these anniversary shows, I show you some sort of project that I am working on around this time, and it's kind of appropriate because since the COVID shutdowns and everything, I've actually had some time to work on my game collection and my storage solutions for it. One of the big things I wanted to do was clean up some of the area where I used to store all my modern games, but since I had water that kind of leaked into the basement down here, I had to move everything, and I had to throw away some of the shelves because they got soaked with water and then started to mold. Since that time, I've been looking for a place to store these games where I wouldn't have to worry about that anymore since I can't store them down here. I've actually run out of room. So to do this, I actually started looking online for some modern shelving solutions, and I found one that I think is going to work. Let's go ahead and take a look at what it took to put this thing together. So I ended up ordering these media wall unit kits online. I only ended up getting these specific shelves because the price was right for what I was wanting to get for this area. My philosophy has always been that I should spend more on the games than I do on the game storage solution. I really hope that these shelves are okay because this is how the box came from the delivery service. I actually don't remember who delivered these, but there was this huge chunk taken out of the side. And if any of you have bought furniture from IKEA, this will not look strange to you. But for those of you who may be unfamiliar with that, let me go ahead and speed through the assembly process. Alright, so that actually looks pretty good. I will say that the build quality of this shelf is on the cheap side. It's nothing I would recommend to anyone else. I am going to use it because I've already bought and paid for it, and I'm definitely not going through the hassle of returning it now that it's assembled, but I am going to have to put 2 more of these shelves together. I'm not going to make you watch all of that again, but just to let you know, the assembly process did get a little bit quicker each time. The first time took me a couple hours, the second one took me about an hour, and the last one took about 40 minutes. Although you can tell many expense was spared, I was happy to see that everything did come with all the parts I needed. There was nothing missing that I had to go back and search for. Now that I have that done, there's actually another room in my house where I'm going to have to store all this stuff. If you've been following my channel in the last year, you'll notice that I have expanded my PS3, Xbox 360, as well as Wii and Wii U Collection phenomenally. And that is because I've been going around to retro video stores, well, I guess not retro, but video stores in my area that are clearancing out some of these games, making room for the next generation. Since that has happened, I actually don't have the room down here to store them anymore, and I decided to put these shelves up in another room of my house that didn't really have a lot of use. It's actually right next door to the arcade. And speaking of the arcade, I actually do have a new machine since I've done those videos on the arcade 1-up. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here's my open sign for the arcade, which is currently not hanging from the wall. You can see my terrible cable management down there. And over here, we have the arcade. And this place is picking up pretty good. I have Space Invaders, which is my newest machine. I also have Pac-Man and Asteroids/Centipede, which is a combination with a whole bunch of other machines there, which is why I really like that one. But my favorite touch to this whole arcade setup is the fact that I have fading lights that go across the top of my entryway here, which fade in and out between different colors as you go along, kind of creating that aesthetic of an arcade. Eventually I hope to put that open sign on the wall over there, but I just haven't done so yet, so that'll be a project for another day. So again, this room is still a work in progress. I really do like having the Space Invaders machine. I wish it had the riser with it, but I guess I'm not too picky with it, as I could have somebody sit down at that machine while somebody else stands at the other machine. Most likely it is going to be just me playing them, so I'm happy to have all 3 of those machines, and that open sign I think gives it a nice neon pink glow that I think would have been present in the arcades, at least around the time that I was a kid. But next to that, I also have my modern game collection. Let's go ahead and see what those shelves look like, all the way completed, and with most of the game collection put on the shelf. My modern game collection. So down here you see all of the Wii U titles that I have gotten. I almost have every single Wii U title in existence. We'll look at those in just a second. Below is my Wii, and then PS4, PS3, 3DS, and then Xbox, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Let's go ahead and take a look at this collection here. You'll notice I have Mario Kart Wii and a Wii Wheel in its original box. That's actually the game that I got when it first came out. That's not a repurchase or anything like that, so that's what I've had for a while. And here it is, folks. This is the Wii U Collection as it sits right now. I'm sure many of you out there that have been following this may be able to find which games I'm actually missing, but it's not very many. Devil's Third is one of them at the moment that is missing. But right below those, you'll see all of my Wii collection. And these were specifically, other than about a handful, maybe about 20 of these games, most of these were picked up, on those video rental store pickups. So this is actually fantastic because I went from 20 games to about 200. So that is it. I mean, there might be a couple missing out of here because I might have them downstairs, but those are my games for that. Down here, it was kind of dark as I blocked my light source. I have to get some better lighting in here. Down here I have all my PS3 games, which again, a lot of these, actually I owned a lot of these beforehand, but I almost doubled the collection in that video rental store run. And my 3DS collection, that's almost all of them there. There's more PS3, because the 3DS is such an odd size, it fit perfectly in between these two halves of the shelf. If you notice when I built it, this right here is the middle. This shelf can't be moved. So I put my 3DS titles there because my PS3 and PS4 titles don't really take up as much room. So I put them right there, but they overflowed down to here. These are the rest of the 3DS titles that I own. And it's changing color still because I have the fading effect going on back there. Here are a few just random games that recently entered my collection or I was just using for some reason. And they're just not entered in the collection yet, so I have them sitting out. And there's most of my PS4 collection there. I didn't really have a lot of these up until recently. I started collecting them from like GameStop as they're clearancing them out and a few other, of the video game rental stores. But I also have my NES Classic hooked up as well, so I guess I want to play some games there. And then I have this beautiful 32-inch flat panel display. It's a 720p. Probably been in my possession for about 10 years now. Maybe a little under. But then down here, Xbox One games and Xbox 360 games. Again, up until the pandemic, I only owned maybe 5 or 6 Xbox One games. All of those are ones that have been clearanced out. So here's a lot, but not all of my Nintendo Switch collection. This again just got added on to it. If you notice, some of these games, like Breath of the Wild, I owned before, but this is still sealed because I actually traded in my old Breath of the Wild. This was the first game I got for the system, and then I got Mario Kart 8 shortly after. But sadly, I traded that in to get something else. You'd think I'd learn by now. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. I think Sonic Mania should be in here, and then, of course, a few of those. So a lot of these are recent acquisitions. And then, of course, up here is my massive, not really too massive, Xbox 360 collection. And I do have signs now. I got those signs from those video rental stores. And I also have signs over here for my PlayStation 3 collection. Oops, can't even get that in frame. That one's got a chip out of it. PlayStation 3. And then up here, the Wii one. And they kept falling down, so I'll have to find a way to mount those onto the wall. But there's a sign for the Wii up here, too. So I have to have the Wii hanging up here above all the Wii and Wii U games. And I have to have the PlayStation 3 above the PS4. Yeah, 3DS I may have to move. And then down there. Yeah, I'm very excited. Finally have my arcades somewhat ready. And I have my modern game system collection in here. If I get some proper lighting, I hope to do more videos in this area because it's a lot taller ceiling than where I usually film, so I can probably get the lights up high so I don't have glares off my lenses. And maybe I can get that TV mounted to the wall. This is just, like I said, a temporary setup, but it's probably going to look like this for a while until I invest some more money into it and time. So again, I am ecstatic about the room that I have for this now. Now when I do more modern game reviews, I don't do them too often, but I plan to film those sections, or at least where I'm commenting on screen, in front of that game shelf instead of down here in front of these. Now, that's not the only place I'll be able to do game commentary, though. So over here you'll see my GameCube, PS2, and Xbox collection, and of course that's the original Xbox. On top here you may notice that I have my Neo Geo Aes cartridges, and that's where these are going to live for now. But this is just another area that I have expanded upon over the last couple of years, and finally decided to get it all organized so you can see it on camera. So again, when I'm talking about this generation of gaming, I should be in this corner of my basement, which is just opposite of the wall over there. But that said, let's go ahead and give you a little tour of these areas to see what games I actually have in each area, and just how big this game collection has grown since I've started this channel. So right here are all of my PS2 games. These are split across these two shelves here. I'm not really going to be able to have time to go through all of them, and there are some missing as I'm working on stuff right now. These ones sitting out front, that's what I do when I get games that I haven't put away yet. I just know generally where they go, so I just put them in front. These shelves are really wide, to the point where I could probably double deck these, but then I can't see the games that are in the back, so I'm trying not to do that for as much as possible. Down here you'll see, yep, Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and San Andreas. I forgot I had San Andreas for the PlayStation 2. There's a whole bunch of titles here, and I know there's a huge glare from the lights. So down below that, though, I have my GameCube games, and this should be all of them. I actually just recently added on to my GameCube collection, so this is everything now, but this game collection barely fit on one shelf. I mean, I've only had about 20 games up until recently. I've just been collecting for them. And then back here, as I said before, here are my Neo Geo Aes Carts. They're huge. They take up a lot of space. They're actually taller than a standard DVD case, so I can't put them exactly where I want them to be. But then the PS2 games spill over to here because I have a huge PS2 collection. And these all will not fit on this shelf over here, which is why I have those split up, and I have all the GameCubes on their own. So again, more VHS tapes. I'll have to move some of that. Then over here, I kind of have a mess of stuff at the moment because I just cleared all this out. I have a power strip for connecting things to this TV. Okay. And here's my original Xbox collection, the original Xbox One. So the Xbox 2001, maybe? There we go. And you'll see a ton of games. This was all expanded upon just recently as well. I've been taking advantage of some stores that were clearancing things out. But if you notice, I haven't intentionally done this, but I started collecting games. Like, if you notice, I have 2 copies of Blood Wake right next to 2 copies of Burnout. Actually, I think those are 2 different things of Burnout, but Cabela's Dangerous Hunts are different. So I didn't realize I was doing this, and I started collecting the Platinum Hits versions of games as well as the original. So did not mean to do that, but apparently I have been. And this is really neat because this one right here, I didn't realize it when I bought it because I only got it for like $5. This is sealed. This is, yeah, never been opened copy of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Didn't look and see how much this is worth, but yeah, that was a find just recently, actually. I'm sure that'll show up in one of my retro game hunting videos or whatever I decide to call them now. But then there's more of the original Xbox games. You notice the price labels on them are mainly from one store. Again, I was able to get those clearanced out. See all the... I was very surprised to see how many Tom Clancy... This whole area is filled with other games. That's just Tom Clancy games. And at the bottom we have a little thing in here. I really do like having Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X. I was trying to collect games that I knew were going to be on both... all 3 consoles. All 3 of these will probably end up facing off against each other sometime, but yeah. There you have it. That is the majority of my game collection as it sits to date. I know I didn't go through a detailed view and show everything, but that's just what I've been working on since the whole pandemic closures, stay-at-home orders, and now that I've had more time to work on it, that's what I have done. That said, I do want to thank you all so much for watching. As always, thank you so much for your support. Stay tuned because I have more content coming, and I will see you all in the next one. If you like this video and you'd like to help out with future projects on this channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Also, if you enjoy the content of this channel, please remember to click on this subscribe button. Again, I want to thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.